Hello and welcome to my kitchen, my world, my farm, the homestead out here. We got up pretty early this morning and went out and squash. We have squash. And we don't have any zucchini squash yet, but we got pretty yellow squash. And they're good, sliced and rolled in cornmeal and fried brown in some oil. But I got another way that I made them. And I've been eating on it because it's my yellow squash cake. And my piece is almost gone. Actually, that's my second piece. I've had too much of it, but that's okay. Had it with a little cup of coffee. But I wanted to share it with you. I tried to make the video with showing you, but I was unsuccessful. So I got here on the laptop, and this won't be a great picture, but I'll show you. There's my yellow squash cake. That's what it looks like. You can't see those squash in that, but it's in there. I need to get some of that to the grandkids because I think they'd love it. But the yellow squash recipe come from my Aunt Lillie. My Aunt Lillie was married to my Uncle Abner, which was my grandmother's little brother, younger brother. And this is Aunt Lillie's handwritten recipe. She's even signed her name down here at the bottom, Lillie. So I've had this a long time in her handwriting, and I need to put it up and not get it messy because you guys have watched me cook before. I can be a little bit of a messy cook, and that's not good. But I made her recipe this morning before it got hot because I don't like to turn the oven on and cook when it's hot. So I did it really, really early before it got some warm because here it is June the 20th. It's pretty warm in my neck of the woods. It's haymaking weather. If y'all have watched those other videos and my husband wasn't here part of the morning because he's been out cutting hay. I got a message from him just a few minutes ago, and he said he was through cutting. So he was coming in. He'll be here in just a few minutes. And he'll start baling it up tomorrow. I'll have to see if I can get some videos of that. We'll see. My camera's not cooperating with me. But I'm going to tell you about the yellow squash cake recipe. And I'll post it down below, but I'll just tell you, it was 2 cups of sugar and a cup of oil. Now, on the oil, I used half butter and half oil just because I wanted to. And just mix that up, and I added 3 eggs to that, 3 teaspoons of vanilla. And then separately, I mixed up the dry ingredients, which was 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of soda, half a teaspoon of baking powder, 3 teaspoons of cinnamon, and a teaspoon of salt. And I whisked that all up and added that to the wet ingredients. And then I had the squash. Aunt Lillie says here it's cooked and mashed, but I didn't do that. I just grated it up real fine. You wouldn't even known it was yellow squash, but it was. And then I folded that into the batter. And I had the pan was greased and floured and prepared beforehand. And then I put it in the oven and baked it 40 minutes at 350 degrees. And it come out, like I showed you, it come out just a pretty golden brown. There's what it looks like cut. Because see, there's quite a bit of it missing already. Wonder who took that. That's the reason you guys got to come and eat with me, so I don't have to eat everything myself. But when it come out of the oven, and it was still warm, and then we mixed up a glaze. The glaze was powdered sugar, vanilla, and water. And Aunt Lillie said a cup and a half of powdered sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 3 teaspoons of water. And then when the cake was still warm, I would poke holes with a fork and then pour that glaze over it. Aunt Lillie's yellow squash cake recipe. And I'm off here. It's almost time to fry these for supper. I don't know what I'm going to have with them yet, but I know we're going to have squash. And you know, I've fried the squash before and put it in the freezer, but I fry it ahead of time and then freeze it out on a cookie sheet, and then after it's flash frozen, then I bag it up. And then in the wintertime when I want it, all I have to do is just take a little package of it and kind of put it in a little oil and a little hot skillet, and it just kind of thaws out. It's just almost as good as it is in the summertime. I got to get off here. I hope you guys have had a good day. Mine's been kind of slow and laid back because I've had to sit in us little Jack, poor little bless his little heart. I've sat with him in the recliner just so he'd be with me some. Poor little doggy. I gotta go. I love y'all. Bye. Make sure you try the squash cake because I'm telling you it's good.